Long, long ago, in a land far away, was a woodcutter. He worked hard every day. Oftentimes, he had to work throughout the day to make enough money for his family's needs. He would wake up early in the morning before the sun was up and walk miles to the forest where he would cut wood to sell in the market. It was grueling work, but in spite of being able to meet his family's basic needs, it never seemed to be enough, no matter how hard he worked. On one particularly humid afternoon, while climbing up a tree to inspect it, he saw a monk sitting still with his eyes closed. The only movement the woodcutter noticed was his chest rising and falling with each slow breath he took. He felt that he could see an aura around the monk. The woodcutter went over to the monk and sat down in front of him, thinking that perhaps the wise monk could offer some advice on improving his life. After a while, when the monk opened his eyes, the woodcutter asked eagerly, "O wise one, I am very poor. Please, show me the way to riches." The monk looked at the woodcutter, pointed north, and merely said, "Go forward in that direction, and you shall find what you seek." The monk wholeheartedly did as he was told and walked forward. After a short while, he reached a dense sandalwood forest. The woodcutter was delighted. He wondered for a moment how the monk came to know about this forest. He then cut down all the trees and sold them for a nice profit. He thus became a rich man. The woodcutter was happy and content for a while, but after some time he felt that something was missing in his life. The monk's advice led me to my riches. Perhaps he can lead me to something more precious, he thought one day. With this in mind, the woodcutter went to the monk once again. The monk was sitting, immersed in deep meditation, hence the woodcutter waited patiently. When the monk opened his eyes, the woodcutter asked, "O wise one, under your guidance I found the sandalwood forest, but I am still missing many things in my life. I still feel that I do not have everything I need. Please, offer your advice." This time the monk pointed south and said, "Go forward in that direction, and you shall find what you seek." The woodcutter obeyed and walked forward south. Very soon he found 3 large chests filled with gold jewelry, a king's ransom. The woodcutter was once again overjoyed. He took all the gold home and became a very wealthy man. But after a few months, his joy waned away and gave rise to a deep sense of dissatisfaction. Even though he had every material possession he could imagine, he realized that he had not obtained the happiness that he so desperately craved. So what did he do? He headed over to the monk once again to seek his advice. The monk was in deep meditation, as the woodcutter expected. This time, the woodcutter asked, "O enlightened one, I have taken your advice to heart and, as a result, found immense wealth. But all the wealth in the world could not give me the happiness and satisfaction that I am looking for. It also occurred to me that you could have taken possession of all that wealth for yourself, but you did not. I beg of you, please tell me the reason." Hearing this, the monk smiled and replied, "I have gone farther than sandalwood forests, farther than gold and diamonds. I have found such happiness, compared to which gold and diamonds equal rock and dirt. I have found inner happiness, and inner happiness comes from inner peace." This information hit the woodcutter like a bolt of lightning. Happiness equals inner peace. The woodcutter marked that equation in his mind. He now realized what he had been missing all along. "How foolish I have been," cried the woodcutter. "You have the secret to happiness, and I was seeking pebbles." He paused for a moment, then asked, "Kindly enlighten me on how I can obtain inner peace. I am ready to exchange all my wealth for that." The monk smiled again and answered, "Inner peace is available to all those who seek, but remember, no amount of wealth can buy it. Instead of looking for happiness in external material possessions, you have to look inward, to your own heart, and you will find it. O wise one, please enlighten me on how to obtain inner peace," the woodcutter implored. Meditation is your pathway to peace. It is a simple thing to do. Just sit down and observe what is going on in your mind. Let your thoughts come and go. Keep doing this until your mind has calmed down. When there are no thoughts, you are in a state of meditation." Upon hearing this, the woodcutter thought that the monk had given him a secret key to happiness. Yet it was so simple that it was not at all a secret. "O learned man, if you knew this all along, why did you not reveal this to me earlier?" "You were not ready for it then," said the monk, again in a calm voice. "How do you know that I was not ready for it at that time?" argued the woodcutter. "I knew that you were not ready because you were only looking for material possessions at that time. Seek, and you shall find." The woodcutter felt that he had been given the greatest information that ever existed. Happiness, he now realized, is not a material wealth or comfort. It is within us. All we have to do is make an effort to find it.